Hello. In this video, I will show you how to do an on-site calibration using the ANDalyze Fluorimeter in preparation for testing for the presence of dissolved and bioavailable lead or uranium in drinking water. Please be aware that the following steps are for calibrating clear water sources, such as drinking water only. Other water matrices, such as surface, ground, industrial, and wastewater, can also be tested, but require pre-treatment steps. Contact ANDalyze customer service for additional application notes on pre-treatment methods. An on-site calibration should be completed prior to testing in any of three situations. 1. When testing a new site location. 2. To adjust for significant changes in sampling temperature. Or 3. When beginning to use a new lot of sensors. An on-site calibration is very important as it adjusts for changes in the sample matrix, such as ionic strength and pH, by calculating the recovery of a known level of analyte, such as lead or uranium, in that matrix. At the end of this process, the fluorimeter will be calibrated for testing water in that site, and the meter will also store those results labeled as that site. A calibration may only be accurate at the time it is originally performed, so do not rely on a calibration to be accurate over long periods, as conditions can vary. Before trying this yourself, please read through the entire user manual. Pay attention to all danger, warning, and caution statements. As part of this test will be time sensitive, we will first prepare the required materials: an ANDalyze fluorimeter, 2 sensor bags, 2 1 milliliter syringes, 2 buffer solution tubes, 1 disposable transfer pipette, the lead or uranium standard solution, the 100 microliter pipette tips, and 1 sample cup, which is not provided. First, let's take our sample. For best results, use a freshly collected sample and that it is used within 1 to 2 hours of collection. And remember to use a clean container to prevent contamination. Here is my sample for today, which I collected from the local water fountain. And today, I'm going to do a site calibration for lead. Please note that the uranium calibration would be identical, but instead of light green, we would use orange sensors, buffers, and use the uranium testing screen. Next, let's prepare 2 buffered solutions. One solution will be used for analyzing a sample spiked with lead, and the other for analyzing an unspiked sample. For this, we will use the buffer solution tube, which you will notice contains a small amount of material. This is designed to bring the pH to the test solution of pH 7 for lead, or a pH 5.5 for uranium. Open the tubes carefully so that the material does not fall out. Slowly pour the test water into the sample tubes up to the 5 milliliter mark. If required, use a provided plastic dropper to transfer water accurately without exceeding the 5 milliliter volume mark. Close one of the caps tightly and mix well by shaking. Once the sample is mixed with ANDalyze buffer, test within 15 minutes. Now, let's spike the other sample tube. First, open the cap on the standard solution. In our case, we are using the 1.1 part per million lead solution. Attach a new tip to the 100 microliter pipette. Depress the operating button on the top to the first stop. Do not press all the way to the body. Immerse the tip into the standard solution. Release the pressure slowly to withdraw the standard solution into the tip. Make sure that the pipette tip continues to be immersed in the solution during release, as do not expose the tip to air. Immerse the tip into the liquid in the buffer tube. Slowly depress the operating button all the way down to dispense the liquid. Remove the pipette and discard the used tip immediately to prevent possible contamination. Close the cap and shake well. For most accurate results, wait 5 minutes before testing. Please take note of which sensor tube contains the spike. Now, let's open the sensor bag which contains the sensor. a plastic cuvette, and a desiccant. The sensor is color-coded for each metal. Lead is light green. The desiccant should be blue in color. If it is turned completely pink in color, the sensor may not perform well. Place the plastic cuvette in the instrument. The cuvette has an arrow which should face you when inserted. Insert the cuvette completely so that the fluorimeter lid can close. The fluorimeter and cuvette design helps prevent improper orientation. Then place the colored sensor on the cuvette. The square portion of the sensor may be placed on the cuvette in any orientation with the round section facing upward. Make sure the sensor is seated securely on the cuvette. Initialize the fluorimeter by pressing the on-off button. Ensure that the fluorimeter is on the correct metal screen. You will notice the color of the item of the screen will match the color of the sensor. For our test, we have selected lead and added to green. If you are adding a new site, select the site screen and select New Site. Enter the name of your new site and save. If you are recalibrating a site, select the site in the menu and scroll left or right to calibrate and select. Both methods are explained in the manual. Once either of these have been completed, the site calibration screen will appear, indicating step 1 of 2. Do not press start until the sample is ready. The fluorimeter should be laid flat on a stable surface during your measurement. With one of the provided syringes, draw 1 milliliter of water from the sample buffer tube containing the spike into the syringe. Attach the syringe to the top of the sensor housing over the cuvette in the instrument. The syringe tip will fit into the top of the sensor. Maintaining a constant speed, carefully squeeze the sample water through the housing of the cuvette. This should take 3 to 5 seconds. Too quickly, and the materials inside may rupture. Too slowly, and the reaction will have already started. The syringe and housing should be immediately removed and the sample door closed. Press the start button located just below the screen to test the sample. This will take about 30 seconds. When indicated, remove the cuvette from the sample chamber to prevent spilling and fouling. When the test is complete, the screen will change. It will indicate step 2 of 2, requesting the injection of the unspiked sample. Open the second sensor bag. Place the cuvette into the instrument in the correct orientation. Then place the colored sensor on the cuvette. Make sure the sensor is seated securely. With the other syringe, draw 1 milliliter of water from the remaining sample buffer tube without a spike into the syringe. Attach the syringe to the top of the sensor housing. Maintaining a constant speed over 3 to 5 seconds, carefully squeeze the sample through the housing into the cuvette. Remove the syringe and housing immediately and then quickly close the sample door. Press start. This will take about a minute. When indicated, remove the cuvette from the sample chamber. When the second test is complete, the results of the site calibration will be displayed. It will contain a calibration factor associated with that site. To save the factor associated with this site, press Apply. On-site calibration from this site has now been saved. You are now ready to test more samples from this site. After each analysis, it is important to discard all components used during the analysis, including the cuvette, sensor housing, sample tube, and syringes to avoid cross-contamination. No special disposal is necessary. This calibration may not be required often, but with practice, this can be completed in just a few minutes. If you have additional questions, please refer to the manual, but if not addressed, feel free to reach out to us at ANDalyze. Thank you for watching.